Or
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
we can run with it and we could pretend like I've been replaced by a super sophisticated robot from the future.
I like it. I mean, I technically don't know that you haven't.
See? Because I'm already sounding robotic.
No, because I haven't seen you in real
Oh,
life for a long time.
true.
I mean,
All
I
right,
haven't
when are we
seen
starting?
anybody. I kind of already
Or
started it.
did we already start it?
I always like the pre-roll. In video, that's when you get the best stuff. Is before people know they're mic'd. Once they're mic'd, they're like, okay, now we're professional, and now I will talk like a professional talks. When meanwhile they're off the mic and just like, off the chain.
Hey,
So
Danny.
yeah,
Danny, can I ask you a question?
hit me.
Have we ever sounded professional?
No, no, but I don't want to take the chance that during this time you
That
become a.
suddenly I'm like, oh, hello.
It's been
My
a
name is
long
Walter
break.
Cronkite.
Anything could have
It
happened.
has been a fucking long break, man. Like, we've had all sorts of shit happen during this time. Since the last time, I should say.
Yeah, and we've had probably nothing but time to record. I really can't think of a good excuse because all excuses are gone nowadays. All of them.
I mean, in that time, we've really eliminated a lot of excuses. I mean, for one, you got a brand new machine.
I did. Yep. Not that the other one
And
was what was holding us back, but now we know it's not that.
yep, it's definitely not the PC. I got a brand new machine,
Oh, it's like, okay, so now we know it's not that.
which
That's two variables down.
you moved, which obviously Miami was holding you back. You couldn't really record in Miami.
It was tough. I had neighbors below and above me, and now I just have neighbors below me. So that's one variable gone. Get rid of the upstairs neighbors.
Wait, you moved to the top floor?
Oh, yeah, we're living in the penthouse, third floor suite, baby.
Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you make that big money.
Yeah, I go from the eighth floor to the third floor without an elevator. So I don't know if we're going the right direction, but yeah,
Dude,
here we are.
it is pretty crazy though. You went for like where films and TV shows go to show off the amazing weather and the scenery and the ocean and everything to just one of the most god awful climates that we have in the entire United States, I think.
Well, I mean, the sun's come out a couple of times in the last month since we moved here. It was great.
Which will be nice until then the ocean and everything next to you starts heating up and then it's like a fucking swamp.
Yeah, and then hurricane season will hit, and then who knows? We're just north of the Carolinas, and
I thought hurricane season was over.
no summertime and fall. That's a little tidbit for you, Arizona people. Hurricane
Yeah, I don't
season
know
is
what a
later.
hurricane is. We have monsoons though.
Like real
That
life,
shit gets gnarly, man.
like African savanna monsoons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think I showed you a video of it one time, but like last year we had a monsoon that was so bad. We had like 6 inches of standing water in the backyard, and it was just coming down. I mean, you've seen what is that show with James Franco, where he's the guy who gets pinned with his arm in the boulder and
Ooh,
has to chop his arm
127
off?
hours.
Yeah,
Might even be
I mean,
128.
flash floods are real, man. Those things are so scary out here.
Oh, that I know. Flash floods, yeah, I know about that for firsthand experience for sure. That's
Those monsoons bring them on quick. It's ridiculous.
this is true. Okay, so we knocked out variables. The weather wasn't a variable, but it could be. Now we know that's coming up.
Well, now you can use it as a variable, right? You can
Oh,
use it as an excuse. So next time we go 4 months without doing a podcast, you could be like, "Oh yeah, sorry. Well, the weather was so swampy, and I developed swamp crotch so bad that I just couldn't stop itching it long enough to do a podcast."
listen, I'm not going to foreshadow anything here, but with hurricane season
What
being
about
between June,
foreskin anything?
well, between June and November is hurricane season. So if you don't see a podcast between then, you'll know it was the hurricanes.
Which is shitty because that's exactly the time we were due to release another one.
Ah, damn.
Damn it!
I got caught in those Florida hurricanes up in DC somehow.
Well, we eliminated variables. We eliminated weather. Anyway, we're back. We're doing it.
I think
How
the
have
only two
things
remaining
been?
are us. We're the reason for the season.
I mean, and to be honest, that's the real reason. I mean, we've been talking a lot, but we haven't streamed anything. We haven't recorded anything. We haven't done a podcast. We've done nothing except for just play and fucking love the game that we're playing.
Yes, sir. And we are coming off a win streak, a double win streak in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone.
Which is a name almost as large as the game it fucking self.
Yes, which doesn't pose a problem to most people, except for they have to delete a few games here and there. But then you go out to this little mountain range home in Arizona and only get internet through somebody's FM antenna. And you pick up a couple of kilobytes per second. And guess what? 30 gigabytes was the last update. 30 gigabytes. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, that doesn't mean anything to me. What does it mean to you? How many days?
Well, speaking of kilobytes, I will just update you right now. I'm downloading at 900 kilobytes a second.
Jesus.
So I have 13 gigs still to go on the update that came out yesterday, which means by what, 8 o'clock my time, we might be able to get in a couple games.
Sounds great. You're talking 8 a.m. tomorrow, right?
I actually was talking 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah.
Good. That'll be fantastic. Looking forward to that. So I guess we can talk until then. This is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, we'll just keep on going.
Since
What
we don't have
a marathon.
We don't have a game to play. I mean, I do, but you could watch me play.
Oh, well, no, I don't really have the bandwidth to download and watch. So
Oh, well, and then we definitely wouldn't have the bandwidth to do that while on record. So, okay, never mind. There goes that
definitely.
plan. Okay. Well,
Or I could pull out my cell phone. Then I could watch in like standard def on my cell phone while I talk and download. That could work.
thank God for them internets.
But yeah, I mean, what the fuck is this game? Like, why does it have to be so big, man? Like, I was talking with my uncle. I think I told you this, and he's a game dev, and he has been forever. Like, he's what got me into all of this too, and he was like, it doesn't need to be this way. It's just laziness. And it's ridiculous. Like, why? Why does it have to be 200 gigs? 200 gigs. That means on a terabyte hard drive, you're using 20% of your storage space on one game.
That is, when you say it like that, that's ridiculous. In fact, I'm gonna pull up my game files right now, and this is just the game file, not including like the temp files that are stored on the C drive and all that other crap that helps it run. This is just game files, properties after the update. Yeah, 181 gigabytes. 181 gigabytes.
And here's the thing, it's not like we're playing a bunch of different maps or anything, which I get. They have different maps, but also a lot of those maps are just derivatives of the big Warzone map. So Doesn't seem like they have to make extra shit for each of those. But I'm legit flabbergasted, and even he was like, "You're not the only one with that issue. This like slow internet, lack of high speed internet, all of that thing affects a massive amount of gamers, which is why a lot of gaming companies like to compress their stuff and like to keep it, as small as possible while still delivering the whole game." But Activision apparently has just said, you know what? Fuck you. And that's it.
I mean, if we're giving every benefit of the doubt, it's everything's kind of a little different during quarantine, so we haven't been able to compress files or anything. But no, this game came out so far in advance of that crap that we can't even give that kind of excuse of, well, they would have compressed it down. It would have been more manageable, maybe 10 gigabytes, which is still huge. But no.
Oh, yeah.
The game's been out forever, and it was always 150, 160, whatever gigs.
I mean, that is why, I think we ran into this a couple weeks ago where we couldn't get into the servers and the wait time was ridiculous. I mean, fine. I get that. You got the whole pandemic thing going. You got a bunch of people like ourselves who have nothing better to do than to play Call of Duty. So fine. If your servers get overloaded, whatever, a pandemic isn't something anyone plans for, much less, a gaming studio. But you could plan not to shell out 200 gigabytes worth of bullshit.
It is an awful lot. But there are other issues on the server side and everything. We get into games where everybody's super laggy. I watched a great video by a really smart YouTuber named Battle Nonsense. I don't think that's what his parents named him, but that is his YouTube name, and I don't know what he really goes by. I think
that's definitely his given name.
I actually think he intros his videos by saying his real name, and I just don't remember it. So anyway, he has really good videos, but he tests like the net code and everything, and at least a couple of months ago, they may have updated in this 30 gig update, which is maybe the reason it's 30 gigs. And maybe this will all be garbage, what I'm about to say. But I don't think it is. But he was basically breaking down that there's server side, or there's server hosted games in multiplayer, and then there's player hosted games. And if you're on one of the player hosted games, that's probably when you're experiencing the super lag and just like everybody on the map is skipping however many feet across the map, like doop, 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 and you're just hoping to hit at one of those points where they're in the middle of the ether. Who knows where they are? I don't know. But that
shitty thing is, they probably assign me to host the game.
Oh man, if only we'd get.
They're like, his latency is good. They're like, his latency is good. Guess that's good enough. Little do they know that my down speed and everything else is completely shit.
Oh man, total garbage. Total
anyway,
garbage.
We've played a lot of this game though. Like a lot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that have played more for sure, but I've spent a good amount of time in this game.
Yeah, but not people with jobs.
That's true. That's true. If only I didn't have a job. Just kidding. I'm not saying that. I'm really grateful for my job.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm grateful for your job.
Me too. Oh, man.
Anyway, so we played a lot of this game. And we've gotten... how many matches would you say we've played?
I could pull it up and get the official number, but I'm going to guess...
Over 100?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, over 100.
Over 200?
Getting close. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So, let's just give it 200. Of the 200 matches we've played, we've won 3.
Well, 4
3 for me, 4 for you.
Yeah. Those
Which
are
means
not good
we
odds.
have like a 1% win record. And
hey, I'm all the way up at 2% now. Come on now. I did the math.
And to top it off, we didn't even have that many until 3 days ago when we started playing with Kelch.
Oh, Kelch is a godsend. Hallowed be his name.
Our guy who averages like 400 damage for the whole match and ends up with 1 or 2 kills at best has somehow been the catalyst to our success.
That's true. I wish there may be a way, and if there is, maybe I'll find it and we can break down the numbers. But I wish there was a way to see what our data of wins or places, did we place top 3, top 50? Where were we placing in games before Kelch showed up to play and after Kelch showed up? Because it feels, and this is just a feeling because I don't know, but it feels like we've had a lot more top 3 finishes with Kelch by like a factor of 8, 10, by a factor of 10 probably, than we did without it.
Probably.
But
you know what other stat would be amazing? They should have a stat called like bullet sponge. Just to see how much damage he's directed away from us and towards himself by running out in the middle or something to that effect, and then drawing everything out at him.
That'd be a fun
That would
stat.
be an interesting stat.
Yeah, if they
and just call it that.
Yeah, post it at the end of the match. For every match, how much damage did you do versus how much damage did you take? I love it.
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be fantastic.
And there'd be people trying to get downed multiple times and break records for damage taken, all that kind of stuff. Downed and revived, downed and revived.
And then, of course, just think of all the achievements you could add. Because achievements are always the most important.
That's why I play. I'm still waiting for the next one. Or the first one.
So in PUBG, I think we have like a total of 1,600 hours or something ridiculous. How many hours do you think we have in Call of Duty?
I'm gonna make one caveat to that and say the hours that we have in Call of Duty, there are probably fewer of those hours that are garbage hours than there are in PUBG hours. Because there was a ton of waiting hours in PUBG, at least at the first, where it was like, okay, you're waiting for a lobby, and then, you're waiting for the lobby to fill, and it just seemed like there was a lot of waiting. Or you're down.
There's a ton of that in Call of Duty, but they just make it more interesting.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just thinking of like after you get downed, you can't come back in. So if you're downed and your teammate is top whatever, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to play it out. All right, well, I'll watch. And so it's still interesting, but I'm not going to call that playing time. So I think there's a lot of padding on those 1,600 hours in PUBG that there isn't necessarily in Modern Warfare because you have the chance to come back, baby.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
largely the reason I asked the question though is like this game is kind of taken over as our PUBG, which was another game that we loved, and I think this style is just something that you and I really love to play, man. Like it seems like these are our type of games.
I like the consequence. Like I enjoy multiplayer on Call of Duty. I'm not going to say I don't because I definitely have a good time when we play it. But there's so many times where you're playing regular multiplayer on Call of Duty and you're just like, oh, I'm dead. Now I'm back. Okay, I'm going to get back and get to this position now. And then, oh, I'm dead. Oh, okay, I'm coming back. I'll just get to this, whatever. It's fine. I'm coming back. I'm going to change my loadout. Okay, I'm here. Boom. And it's like there's no consequence to dying except for you have to get back in whatever position you're trying to be in or, push on whatever objective you're trying to push, which there's definitely some entertainment and joy in that. But I don't find games without consequence as enjoyable as games with consequence. And it feels like there's more consequence.
I agree. I think that there is nothing more devastating than having a game, at least in video games. There's nothing more devastating than having a game where you have one chance, really, I guess Call of Duty affords you, a couple depending on how good your team is. But I mean, ultimately, you have like one chance, and then once it's gone and it's done, then that's it. So there's nothing more devastating than getting into like a top 3, top 10, any sort of situation really, and then just getting whacked and being like, God damn it! I was so close. It was right there for the taking, and then it was taken away from me. And it gives you motivation to just keep going and keep trying and recruiting Kelch to to really push you over. I agree with you. I enjoy multiplayer, but I don't find it near as gratifying. I don't find it as rewarding. Like, the basketball players or any athlete really always talks about like how the losses hurt so much more than the wins. When I'm playing multiplayer and we lose, it's like, ah, fuck it. Like, I lost about 60 times in that game because I got killed 60 times, and but I shot 70 guys and we lost the game, but I had a positive ratio and I don't really care. When you lose in Warzone, it's like, damn it.
Oh, it's totally
that was my
true.
chance.
Like the flip side of the terrible loss feeling is the added joy and elation of like, I just beat 150 players in surviving, bullets and all this other crap. Like, suck it, everybody else. I'm the best of this 150 player group, and y'all can suck it.
Exactly.
Like, it just feels so good. I do care what my stats were in the end. Like, okay, hopefully I have some good, a good amount of kills, good amount of damage, but whatever, I contributed. I hope that's good. But in multiplayer, at the end, like you're saying, all I care about is, okay, was I a positive KD? I don't care where my team is. I look straight at myself. Okay, good. Those stats are okay. I have no idea. Did we win? Did we lose? Who cares?
Right. I don't give a shit that
I don't want to
Tony
say
went 0-72. Like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a little bit of
care. The other thing too that I love about the game style, and we experienced this the other day when we won, and none of us had any plates, and we kind of had shitty guns. But I like the strategy and the thought and the positioning and how much outside of just being able to shoot people really goes into that.
Oh yeah, like bullet drop, all that kind of. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. It doesn't.
We've had games together, where one of us has had like 11 kills or 10 kills, and that's a lot. That's a really good game for us. For some people, maybe that's not so good, but that's a great game for us. And then we've still, ended up 48th place or 52nd or something ridiculous. It's like, well, it didn't matter. But that game with Kelch, where we just rotated and we positioned well, even though I think I ended up with 3 kills, you ended up with 4, and Kelch had the final kill, like, that's way, way more fun to me. Like, I enjoy that aspect of being able to just outsmart in terms of placement and win and how we're rotating and stuff, and then get the kills along the way too. But I love that, and I find that exhilarating. I find that fun. I find it balancing for people like us who aren't the best of the best at taking down a ton of people, because it's an equalizer. If we can outsmart them and we can outposition them, then we still stand a chance at winning too. Albeit it's apparently about a 2% chance.
Yeah, if our numbers are accurate, who knows? We may have played 400 matches and it's down below 1%. We'll have to double check on those. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, and if you're thinking, oh well, you're talking about camping, just getting into a good spot in camping, I would disagree. I don't as much enjoy the games where it's like, okay, just land at one spot, camp, and wait. That doesn't sound like fun to me. the one exception to that is like that tower in the airport where you can go on there and then you're on the tower, and then it's not like you're camping and waiting for someone to come around, but you're like up and sniping and constantly shooting people because you get so much range. So it feels a little bit different there, but that's the only time I would say that we really camp in a spot is on that tower.
Yeah. And I don't like camping. I don't like
No.
just like if we were in the center of a circle and the circle kept collapsing in on us, I would not like to just do that. But when we're outside of the circle and we have to decide, okay, when and where and how do we get in and all of that, that's what I like. I don't particularly like camping either, except up on that tower. That is a lot of fun. Especially when you put the claymore at the top of it and some guy just decides, well, I know these guys are up at the top. We're going to take a chance and kaboom!
You got to have one guinea pig, man. Someone's got to be prepared to die, and that's how it is.
Yeah. So what's your best kill game in Modern Warfare, do you know?
Probably 11. I don't think
I think it's 11. I think we're both 11. Although I think you got 11 on the last one that we won, right?
Yeah, I did. Yep. It was a beauty.
So there's a spot where not only did your best game happen, but we won too.
This is true. And I was just thinking like, oh, okay, well, are we going to, when we put this up on YouTube, are we going to put some game footage underneath? And I have some game footage of the end of that game, and I have a ton. I enabled highlights on NVIDIA, and so I have a ton of these little highlights that are like 10 seconds long that just would be terrible to watch. But I think there's a couple of those kills in the highlights I may be able to throw in. But yeah,
you enabled GeForce highlights?
Yeah, it's okay. Like I like it, but it seems like it ends the highlight like immediately as you kill the person, like they're dead, and it ends the highlight right there. And I don't know how to change that setting, so it's kind of awkward.
Is that on your shitty GTX 970?
No, this is on the RTX 2070.
Oh baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically top of the line. I don't think you can go any higher than that. That's as good as it gets.
It's as good as it gets.
Yep.
I did want to give you a chance to brag about your computer because it is pretty beastly, man.
Yes. And now that I've had a chance to brag about how giant I am, why don't you share what you have under your hood?
No, because I wanted to ask you about this too.
Okay, all right. Save
I think that your quality and enjoyment of Call of Duty has gone up since you upgraded too.
Oh, not even close. When I had the old rig, I was crashing in every 3 games at least, maybe every other. It would crash and then there's no way back in, and it was just super frustrating. But not only that, I was playing at 720p and everything was super pixelated. So if you were up close, I got you. If you're far away, I feel like there was a couple pixels moving. It could have been tree branches. I don't know. We'll just take a shot and find out. Now I'm on 1440p. It's beautiful. I'm pulling, I don't know, 80 frames usually, something like that. So yeah, I'm living a dream.
Enough for it.
Yeah, for me, it's like, whoa, everything is good, and I'll take it. It was beautiful compared to what it was. Oh, yeah, I'm loving it.
And you got yourself a new Ryzen processor.
Yeah, got the 3800X, which should be good for some video editing. I've got a lot of that to do here in the next month. Got a couple of projects, so. Should be fun.
And it is better for games too. Like those first generation Ryzens were awesome, but the clock frequency was lower, and the transfer time basically in the Ryzens you have this stuff called Infinity Fabric, and a lot of the data has to transfer between that. And in the in the first gen, that transfer process in the Infinity Fabric was not as good as it is now. And so even now, where you've got you've got faster RAM, you've got more RAM because you got 32 gigs. Is that right?
32, baby. Living the dream.
So, yeah. So, I mean, even your CPU facilitating a better gaming experience is up there, which is pretty sick. I can't imagine going back to a 970 and trying to play the game.
You can't imagine it because it would frustrate you, and you'd be saying probably word for word, I feel like I want to rip my dick off. Oh, I hate this. And then the sound will get slightly further away as you drop your headset and start complaining as you walk away, and under your voice or on the top of your lungs, either way.
That never happens.
No, I'm just imagining something. I'm not remembering. It's imagining.
Yeah, man. I think that's awesome, though. Like, this game, it really is pretty intensive, all in all. Like, I can't believe just how far it pushes some of the stuff. And it's probably not even the most intensive game, but maybe it's also not the most optimized game as we've seen in some places. But
you mean that they couldn't optimize it in 181 gigs?
No. You got to sort through all that 189 gigs to get, that one byte of information that you need. Like, apparently, fucking footsteps.
Oh, man. Fucking
God,
footsteps.
I hate that, man. The footsteps drive me absolutely insane. In one of our games, 2 days ago now? In one of our games, the guy was literally right fucking next to me. I didn't even hear him. I had no clue he was there. And this pisses me off because now I sound like Tony and I like all the fucking game. But seriously, that shit makes me so mad. And then Kelch is just gabbing away about God knows what, and I'm like, Kelch, shut up! And then I sound like the asshole because I can't hear and I want to do well.
Oh, I won't refute that. Kelch is talking over it, and it's hilarious. And then, yes, B, you do sound like an asshole. It's so funny.
Kelch, shut the fuck up, goddammit.
I love
Which,
it.
funny enough, is actually my headset microphone kind of dangles here a little bit now.
Got a dangler.
Because I got really angry and I threw my headset on the floor as hard as I could, and apparently I broke one of the mounting brackets on the inside. So
you threw it as hard as you could, and your headset went from being fully erect all the time to now just dangling, and you can't get it up.
Yep, just a flaccid, limpy headset.
That is a terrible, sad story for headset dysfunction, HD.
Agreed. Well, I think that we've expressed how much we love the game. We should definitely get some game footage. We should definitely stream a little bit.
You should record some. I've got plenty. Plenty's not the right word. I've got some, but you should have some, because otherwise, there's no way to transfer this to you with your shitty internet. So, guess what? Y'all gonna
and there's no way for me to transfer to you either. So, we're just going to have to do it.
Yep.
Okay, but there was one other thing I really wanted to talk to you about.
Okay. Are you sure there was one? Because if the one other thing isn't how many video cards do you have, then it sounds like there's two things. Because I know you want to talk about how many video cards you have.
Well, I only have one video card.
What? But you had more.
I did have more. So I got a 2080 Ti, which
it's slightly
I do
below
love.
The 2070, right? Just right below that 2070 mark.
Yeah, I didn't have, dude. You're making the big money now. I didn't have the funds to go toes with you on that, so I had to settle for 2080 Ti.
Any day you want to switch, I'll so happily send it in the mail. Let's switch them out. Charity for you.
it does crank out, over 140 FPS on ultra settings, but really, who's counting, right? Like, ugh. But it's also my second 2080 Ti because I was trying to water cool the first one, and this is another thing. Man, I bitch a lot, especially to you.
And now to everyone else. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah, you all get to experience my bitching. But I tried to water cool it. I tried to water cool it a lot. I tried to water cool it on 5,000 different occasions. Like, even right now, as we're talking, I'm looking at this workbench that I have set up in my room, and there's water coolers on there. There's screws for everything. There's heat sinks that I bought for the VRM. There's all sorts of shit just scattered all over. And for whatever reason, that stupid first 2080 Ti, every time I put the water cooler on, just dropped my frames to nothing. It'd crank out 140 frames, and then I'd put the water cooler on, and then bam, suddenly I'm down to like 30. It still is making me angry just talking about it. So I just said, you know what? Daddy Trump, you just gave me $1,200. I'm gonna go ahead and buy another 2080 Ti. So I did, but I sold the other one, so I recouped a lot of it.
So the lesson here is, if you buy the top of the line graphics card, right under the top of the line like mine, but
don't buy a blower model.
No, if you buy a top of the line
no,
model,
that's it. No, that's it.
You already bought the top of the line. What are you doing fucking with it?
Don't live with it. No. No. It's don't buy a blower model because they're loud. They're super hot. I live in Arizona, goddammit, Danny. It's hot enough. I don't need 78 degrees Celsius of warm air blowing directly out of my case at me, making me look like I'm standing right behind a jet engine. Okay?
It was over 100 degrees in Arizona today, so I will give you that.
Good. Thank you. Because it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. My air is already hot enough. I don't need my fucking video card doing it. So I bought this Gigabyte with 3 fans on it, and I still want to water cool it, but you know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to send you this water cooler so that you can water cool your CPU, and I'm just going to be done with it.
One might say that you did learn the lesson.
Yeah, don't buy a blower model GPU. Okay, Never buy a blower model.
Whichever lesson was learned, the right answer is happening. So your computer runs like a beauty now.
Yeah, well, and the liquid cooler on the CPU is just amazing. That thing's staying down at like 60 degrees, which is just orgasmic, man. On my 3950X.
Whoop, whoop. Man, you got bigger numbers than me, that's for sure. For now.
Oh, and my 64 gigs of RAM.
Oh my god, I still don't know what you're gonna do with the extra 60 gigs.
I told you. I opened up like 6,000 Google Chrome tabs, and then that was it.
Is it possible for you to need that much pornography?
Dude, you have no idea what kinky shit I'm into.
Quarantine, man, it kills you.
If I ever want to live out my Daft Punk orgy dream, it's only happening through pornography. So it's got to be like 2,000 tabs, all cranking Pornhub, top quality stuff. That's what it's used for.
So the next.
Anyway, the last thing I wanted to ask you about, outside of your own particular porn fetish, was
that's the after
have
hours.
you watched? Yeah, that's OPNess After Hours. Have you watched The Last Dance at all?
No. I am waiting for more episodes to be released before I indulge because I am a binge. I'm a binger. I'm not afraid to say I have a problem. I like to binge. I think you have the same
I'm
problem.
a binger too with mine just doesn't involve TV.
But yeah, I'm waiting for more episodes, and then I'm gonna jump on and watch. Before the final one is out, I'll probably watch them so that the final one is the final one. That's okay. I can wait a week. I mean, I'm not a monster. But
well, let me tell you something.
Go on. It sounds like you've watched
it. It is. I watch every one of them as they come out because, dude, this was our childhood, man. Like, this was going down when we were wee lads, and I was a massive Jazz fan, and although I was a massive Michael Jordan fan, so I find it riveting. I find it really, really interesting to see, like, whoever had the foresight of, like, just getting out a video camera and watching Dennis Rodman do shoulder presses and asking him questions while he's doing it is a genius. It's just unreal. And what they tell
what
and reveal. Yeah, exactly. But it's just incredible, man. Like, the way that the NBA was during this time. But the whole reason that I ask is because while it is amazing and while I find it riveting, it is also like intentionally subjecting myself to relive trauma because I know the outcome of The Last Dance. And as a Jazz fan, it was heart-wrenching. That's why I asked if you've seen it and whether or not you were reliving your trauma all over again.
No, I haven't. I've yet to live through it. I'll probably stock up on some of that binge fluid before I do, just because I know what's coming. But, no, I'm sure it will end exactly how I think it will end. Which is what.
Were you a big Jazz fan?
Yeah, I like the Jazz. I mean, I grew up liking the Celtics, but I didn't. I definitely
grew up
was
liking the Celtics. How
Yeah.
did that? What? How?
I don't know. It works with all the other teams in Utah. You can say, oh, we don't have a football team, so you like whatever team you want. Oh, we don't have a hockey team. You like whatever hockey team you want. But you can't do that with basketball. But guess what? I did.
You did it.
I did. But I still, obviously I still rooted for the Jazz. I still, I still had a good soft spot in my heart for them and still do. So...
All right. Well, at very least, I think that we should do another podcast once The Last Dance is all done and wrapped up. And you could tell everyone just how heartbreaking it is for you to have watched it again.
That sounds good to me. I'm in. That final episode airs November, right?
November. It's a 10-part series. They didn't make a documentary that went longer than the length of the final season.
Yeah, I was just saying, maybe that's when our next podcast will air. So hopefully, hopefully we prep our listener to think that our episode's coming out in November, because that's when it'll happen.
Actually, wait, what's the fucking date now? Isn't it already November? Like,
yeah, totally.
2020's been like 6 years wrapped into one, and we're not even halfway through.
You need to start Christmas shopping, my friend. You're already behind.
Am I?
Yeah.
I spent all my money on 2080 Ti's. I have no money left.
Ti's with an S. My God.
All right, brother. Well, I think that about does it. But we should definitely go murder some people.
Sounds good. Are you downloaded yet or what? Are we ready to start this thing up?
We're actually not. So I say we should go murder some people, but really it's hurry up and wait.
Okay, well, I'll have to get practice in other ways. Video game ways.
Wait, what are you going to practice, huh?
Murdering.
Oh. I was thinking like jerk-off simulator. What if they made What if they made, because they've got like heart surgeon simulator, they've got like PC building simulator. What if they just made jerk off simulator? Like, how sad would your life be to not even have the motivation to actually jerk off, but to simulate it and play a game about jerking off?
Oh man, I watched the final movie I'll leave you with that I watched that was pretty good. It was Good Boys. I watched that last night. About the
Good boys, good boys.
the little kids.
Oh, that's like the super bad ripoff,
yeah,
right?
it's like a super bad ripoff, and it's different. It's but there's definitely some good moments in that with sex dolls and things like that. So.
Oh, you know, it was a good movie that I watched last night too.
What hit me?
It's called Bad Education, and it's on HBO, and it stars Hugh Jackman, and it's all about
from a long time ago.
I don't think
Is
it just.
new?
Yeah, it's new, and Hugh Jackman plays the super intense. It's based on a true story. Like the events really happen. They probably didn't happen exactly the way that the movie portrays it, but it's based on a real story, and it's about the biggest embezzlement scandal in like K through 12 public school history. Like, dude
Ooh.
essentially steals more than $11 million from the public school system in New York.
I like it. I'm gonna watch it. That sounds great.
It's very good. And the thing I found probably most interesting is like at the end, you know how a lot of times movies give like facts about the actual events that happen and what ended up happening after the movie ends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one says, due to an oversight in New York pension law, the guy still gets $173,000 a year from New York State public school system pension plan.
Okay. Good night, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So definitely watch that. Definitely watch us kill some people once this download stops. And we'll talk to you all in a couple months. Goodbye.
Peace out.